Hello everyone, it's been a long time since I made a guide for top lane Udyr, so that's what we're going to be talking about this time. This build is for maxing Tiger and Phoenix first, therefore doing a lot of damage, and late in the game being a very strong split pusher. The core item of this build is Guinsoo's Rageblade. In the early game we'll be maxing Tiger and rushing Pickaxe and do 100% physical damage. Hopefully this baits our top lane opponent into starting an armor item, and it usually does. But next we'll be maxing Phoenix, and when Rageblade is done we'll be doing heavy magic damage. In patch 6.23, Rageblade was actually buffed to give a base attack speed of 25, and this combined with having 6 stacks would mean we get 73% attack speed from this single item. Wit's End and Trinity Force both give 40% attack speed currently, and if you combine one of these with Guinsoo's Rageblade, you will have 2.47 attack speed at level 18, 1.235 flames per second. I really like that stat. Then after your 1 or 2 attack speed items, you can go straight for defense and maximum cooldown reduction. Now I'll show you the full build order, followed by runes, masteries, and a ranked game. We're going to start level 1 with the Corrupting Potion. This will let us farm safely and just survive until we can get enough money to buy a pickaxe for our first recall. After our pickaxe is when we should try to get our first kill and really surprise our opponent with our damage. Of course, we'll be maxing Tiger first, and in 1v1s we'll engage with Bear Stance and then alternate Tiger and Turtle Stance to win a 1v1. For the second recall, we'll buy attack speed, and we can upgrade our boots defensively if we want to counter our opponent, if they're doing a little bit more damage to us than we'd prefer. And at this point, we'll start maxing Phoenix. If you have a hard time in the early game taking a lot of poke damage, you could take a few levels in Turtle Stance before starting to max Phoenix Stance. The core item of this build is Guinsoo's Rageblade. That's 73% attack speed, flames in every second attack. If we're a little bit ahead after Guinsoo's Rageblade, we can choose another attack speed item, either Wit's End if we're against a lot of magic damage, or Trinity Force if you just want to do the most damage possible. Late game, we can choose defensive items based on the enemy team comp or whoever's strong in the enemy team. For the runes, our quintessences will be attack speed, marks will be lethality, otherwise known as hybrid penetration. If you really want to reach maximum attack speed at level 18, I'm sure you can add a couple attack speed marks, but I'm not really sure how many you need. Maybe somebody in the comments feels like figuring that out. The yellows will be flat armor. Blues, there will be 3 scaling magic resist and 6 scaling cooldown reduction. For the masteries, we'll be running 12-0-18. Keystone Mastery is Courage of the Colossus. Gain a shield based on your maximum health for each nearby enemy champion after hitting an enemy with a stun. So the more health you have and the more enemies are nearby, the more health you'll get whenever you use your Bear Stance. That has a 45-second cooldown in the early game and 30-second in the late game. In the Ferocity tree, we're also taking Battle Trance, gain up to 5% increased damage over 5 seconds when in combat with enemy champions. So while our Guinsoo's Rageblade ramps up in a fight, Battle Trance will also be ramping up. Okay guys, jumping into the ranked game now. Just gonna leash for this Lee Sin, but if you didn't have to leash, you could try to cheese kill your opponent by waiting in the top lane bush and getting a double Q burn with your Corrupting Potion. In order to do the double Q burn, you have to wait 2 attacks, so you would activate 1 Q like at Fountain, and then attack twice before activating another Q when you're trying to kill your opponent, and activate Corrupting Potion at the beginning as well. You're pretty much always going to take more than half of your opponent's health and get them pretty scared of you at level 1. That's going to help you tremendously. Just the psychology of them being a little bit scared, they're going to sit further back, and it'll be harder for them to farm. And if they're not harassing you, you can just sit in Turtle Stance when you need to heal up, and you can out-sustain your opponent that way. But if your opponent is ranged and able to poke you, and you're not able to reach them, well, you should just let them push and farm very safely under your tower if you have to, and if you have to give away some of the farm to avoid getting poked, that's fine. Just be super safe if you're against a ranged opponent and wait for your pickaxe first recall. After you get your pickaxe is usually when you should try to go all in and kill the guy, catch him by surprise, because it'll do a huge amount of damage with just Tiger and a pickaxe and Corrupting Potion. Looking back at this gameplay, I can tell mistakes I'm making. I mean, I'm not a top lane main, but I'm pretty sure you guys are going to be able to at least learn something from this. I'm pushing, like I shouldn't be attacking this minion here, I should be letting it push. Because me being pushed just makes it easy for me to get ganked, and makes it impossible for my jungle to gank. And if I actually want to kill the guy, I especially have to let him push because I need to have some stretch of space for me to chase him. So normally when I get a kill, it's me letting the enemy push to my tower, and then me just popping Ghost, running straight at the guy with Bear Stance, stunning him, switching over to Tiger Stance, activating Corrupting Potion, and just keep attack moving in the direction that he wants to move. And 9 times out of 10, the guy's going to be dead before he can get to his tower if he was already pushed towards your side. So that's the strategy for getting kills. Let the guy push, pop your Ghost, run straight at the guy, and go ham. Lost that trade, didn't get my Tiger Stance off soon enough. I probably should have used Bear Stance to stun him faster, and then I probably would have had time to get my Tiger off as well. But here I'm taking a lot of damage. I kind of underestimated this guy because he's out of mana right now, so I wasn't really too scared. But another example of me not being a very good top laner, I just totally underestimated this guy's damage, and he was able to lock me down and get the first kill in the lane. But the reason I decided to use this gameplay is because it ends up being pretty good. I ended up pretty fed at the end, and I wanted to show you that you can still do that when you have a pretty bad start. After buying my pickaxe, I did have a little bit more gold. I did have enough to buy a fairy charm, and I think it's worth it because you can sell later on. You're only going to be losing like 40 gold or less than that, and meanwhile you're just going to have more mana regen, and it's really helpful for sustaining in lane because usually, in my experience, I run out of mana a lot sooner than I run out of health in lane. Shove top a little bit so he misses that farm under tower. Zac shows up. He starts at full health and then suddenly, where'd all your health go, Zac? That's all with Tiger Stance and Corrupting Potion. Here's another example of just being bad in top lane and underestimating this guy. Just popped me 3/4 health down to 0 in one combo. So after that, I'm definitely going to be building a Null Magic Mantle. That's going to be enough to help me survive one burst. People really underestimate how much just a single Cloth Armor or Null Magic Mantle can help you. They really do. Over a few minutes in lane, they can save so much health for you. I'm not sure what is going on in mid lane, but I'm not going to judge. This guy ended up doing pretty well, the Ziggs. But for now, my opponent is even more fed. He's 3-1. I'm just 1-2. But as I said, there's a reason I chose this gameplay, and you will see why. I'm going to ward river. I like to use the control wards on my side of the map. So there's 2 bushes up here. If I'm on the other side, I would use a control ward in river, but if I'm on this side, I would use the control ward in tri-bush. So that way it's harder for the enemies to kill that thing. The enemy jungler, if he goes over there, I can more easily push him off and save my ward. Now, while this wave is resetting, I'm just going to take a quick walk towards the enemy jungle and see if there's anything in here I can find. But then Zac was here, so I just stunned him, walk over to the plant, hop over the wall, and probably a good time to recall because I'm pretty low. So I'll buy my Mercs. It'll help against Cho'Gath and Zac, which is really good, and I'll also have enough to buy an attack speed dagger for the Guinsoo's Rageblade. Now I'm going to chase this guy real soon here. He's low mana. There goes his knock-up. He just missed. So I'm just going to charge at this guy with Bear Stance, activate Corrupting Potion and Tiger Stance as always. Attack move in the direction that he wants to move, so you can kind of stick as close as possible to him. And you can see, even though he flashes, I'm still close enough to attack him again. So that's why you want to always attack move in the direction that the enemy's going, if you're trying to keep up with them and kill him. And there are very few champions that could actually just stand their ground and beat you in a 1v1, because you're pretty much going to kill everybody before they can kill you. Now the enemy blue buff just came up, so I'm going to go down there and try to steal that from Zac. It's going to help me hugely if I can get this, because then I can spam my spells and never run out of mana. Now Cho'Gath is pushed again, so I can try to kill him pretty soon here. Lee Sin is coming up as well. So I'm just going to pop Ghost. Again, sprint at him with Bear Stance. I don't have any Corrupting Potion charges, but I'll just use Tiger Stance. Alternate Tiger and Turtle. Use your Bear Stance again after 5 seconds. And now let's push down this tower. We should have enough time, because since we're maxing Tiger and we have attack damage and attack speed, we can take out these towers super fast. Now I'm going to recall. I have enough money to finish Guinsoo's Rageblade. I'll also buy another control ward and Oracle Alteration. So at this point, Cho'Gath is pretty scared. He doesn't have much he can do. He has nowhere to run now because his tower's gone. If I decide to chase him down, he's going to have to survive a long time to get to safety. You can see he just doesn't want to get close. Finally, he gets a little bit too close. I'm just going to charge at him. Bear stance, activate Tiger, and then now since we're maxing Phoenix, I'm going to switch to Phoenix after the Tiger stance. By the time you switch to Phoenix, your Guinsoo's Rageblade should be fully stacked, and you'll have flames on every second attack. So let's see if I can get another top tower. At the minimum, I'm going to draw the jungler up here, and if he comes up here, you know I'm going to be able to kill him. The jungle finally decides to show up. I'm going to dodge his knockup, but I'm 4 levels above him, so he's not going to be able to do much. I'll focus to Zac first. Cho'Gath as well. I mean, they're both pretty squishy. And then the mid laner shows up, and he's dead too. Not bad for starting out 1 and 2 against a 3-1 Cho'Gath. I'll just steal this Gromp real quick, and then I'll recall. Now, against this team comp would be a really good time to buy Wit's End, but also I'm just so far ahead of any of them, so I'm just going to, instead of building Wit's End, I'll just build Trinity Force. I'm going to teleport down to bot lane. Let's try to push that lane now. Team shows up. Well, that guy's dead. Looks like there's a team fight about to break out at any moment. Let's just run in behind these guys, get them trapped over here so they can't run away. Eventually, we're going to push in. Looks like we baited out another Zac jump. He jumped out of tower range, so now we can engage these guys. I'll focus the Cho'Gath first, just because he's the furthest one to the left. If I focused Zac instead there, Cho'Gath might have been able to escape. I just didn't want anybody to get away. We got Vayne. And we got Zac. Now, let's get this tower. I'm going to recall and finish Trinity. I'm going to sell my Corrupting Potion so I can finish Trinity. And I'm going to head down towards Rift Herald. Very easy solo, and we only have a minute before it despawns. Speaking of despawn timer, it'll despawn at 1945. Unless you're in combat with it, then it'll despawn at 1955. As you can see, we're at 2.37 attack speed, level 13, with just Guinsoo's Rageblade and Trinity Force. See if we can get this guy on top. Looks like he ran away. Hey, how's it going, Zac? Nobody want to play? Alright. Now this Zac tries to engage on our support, but he's dead super fast. He just gets deleted. Same as the other guys. They're just dropping like flies. Killed 4 of them. Vayne's the last one alive. I'm gonna head down towards bot. Take out this tower. Take out the inhibitor. Check out this damage on this Zac. Now this Zac built Cinderhulk. He's trying to only build defense. Like, he's trying his hardest just to survive. He just melts. He just melts. He's building Spirit Visage and he has a Cinderhulk. And thank you, Ziggs, for getting that kill. Just messing around a little bit here. Got a little bit greedy. Seeing what I can get away with. For the YouTube video. Not really, I'm just bad. I'm a greedy bastard. But regardless, this game's pretty much over, guys, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you learned something. If you did learn something, please leave a like. It really helps me out, more than you know. Leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll try to answer every question I can. Thank you, guys. See you next time.